Hello, this is the 41st lecture of the Semantic SEO course. In this lecture, we will continue to talk about the article methodology, and there are a few more concepts that we will need to use in this area to explain the logic in this part and the flow of overall the context. So the first thing that you should know is the extractive and the abstractive summary. Whatever we write into the article methodology, especially for the macro context part and especially for the introductionary part, whatever we write here, these things will be talked about and processed and mentioned web page side, which means from beginning to the end, whatever we write here, whatever we state here, it will continue to be mentioned, processed, and everything will be about that. If you think about the contextual vector, basically it is actually a line. Most of the time we try to create a straight line, a straight proper context. Most of the time AI generated content or bad prompt engineering and at the same time distracted minds, basically, or non-expert authors, they create their context vector like this. They write random sentences, they don't care about the knowledge term domains, and the context flows like this. We need a straight line without any interruption. So in this case, this is actually our general summary section. An extractive summary is the summary that is created with the extracted declarations from different subsections of an article. Abstractive summary is basically modifying the existing sentences in the key points of an article and using it for summarizing the entire article. When you unite extractive and abstractive summary, you will be getting a general summary part. The thing here is that in the future lectures, we will see these things more clearly. But basically, to be able to give an abstractive summary in this area or extractive summary in this area, you need the rest of the article. But since the rest of the article is not written yet, and this is the first section that will be written, you will need to make things easier for the copywriters, authors, and the experts or the expert authors. Because if you create a bad summary, basically you will be creating a kinds of disconnectedness or discordance between the beginning part of the article, middle part, and the end part. And since the author didn't write the next sections yet, they will assume that everything flows with a proper order. And if it doesn't, in this case, your summary, your heading, and your subheadings, and your anchor text, everything will be discordant or the less relevant to each other. So basically, the extractive summary is extracting certain types of sentences and putting them to the here. But since we didn't write them yet, we can't use extractive summary at the beginning. So that's why at the beginning you will need to write an abstractive summary, which means you will need to imagine the rest of the article in an abstract way. Then you will need to write the introductory part. Once you finish the entire article, you will need to check the introductory part and the conclusion part one more time. Then you will need to actually use key points. You will need to extract them and distribute them to the summary. So the article writing process usually in SEO goes like this. If this is the web page, usually people write here, then they write this middle ground, then the maybe conclusion, and they never go back. So in our situation, we write a kind of abstractive summary by actually imagining the next sections of the article. Then we write actually our macro context and also, let's say, supplementary section, which is the micro context part. And once we write these two, then we continue to extract some key points further and we continue to move them to the general summary part. If you see that there is a discordance between these sections, we continue to configure them further so that everything can be a straight line without any kinds of interruption that reflects that we actually stay on the same topic by processing everything without leaving any gap. So in the article writing process, that's why you should tell your authors that from beginning to the end, they will need to follow this order. I know that I take things slow when it comes to article methodology, but once we check the existing articles, you will get it better. This is the most important part. So before ending this specific lecture, we already explained some of the rules that we have. We will also give some of the basic rules in this lecture series. As you see here, I use these quotation marks, which means that the author will need to distribute these specific phrase sequences without breaking them. And also, with a proper grammar structure, the author will need to give a unique information without repetition, without gibberish. If the author follows these rules, if the author protects the grammar structure and always gives a unique information by using these specific sentences or the phrase sequences, then the person actually will be ending up following these contextual vector, mentioning the most important context terms, and at the same time giving always a different information, which will be increasing the overall quality. These phrases are important because some of these things are for internal link justification. As you see here, at the bottom we have a gallon of water in our internal link. And at the same time, we actually have this specific phrase inside our contextual vector, contextual bridge, and it will be appearing in this area too. If they are appearing in this part, but if they don't appear in this area, which is the macro context introduction, then our contextual vector is not straight. If you don't trust your authors always, you will need to put these type of context hints in your article so that you can force them to use these type of phrase sequences. And in generative AI, it will be very much easier in near future. And then we talk about drinking water is, which is an annotation for this area. We tell the person that you will need to start your sentence with this. In the future, you will see the sentence types, and this is a definitional sentence. The section that at the left of the is the thing that we are defining. Then the drinking water, or is a water kind to drink safely, etc. The main benefit of the water is to provide life for organics, etc. So basically, these are some sample sentences, and we are trying to actually help the author to use certain types of terms. The life and the organics, these are important. The predicate provide is also important too, and main benefit of water, again, it is important as well. So basically, whatever you put in your macro context, with the same order, we will repeat them in our general summary and also in our contextual vector, and also the methodology for all of them together with the internal links. See you in the next lecture.